The Chatterbox Prince. Once upon a time, a prince was born to a powerful land. His father, King Elrith, and his mother, Queen Loria, hosted a huge feast to celebrate Prince Armin's birth. It was to be the party of the century, and all the worthies of the realm were invited. The well-to-do and upper crust came bearing gifts, but not everyone arrived with good intentions. The king's brother, Magni, who had been next in line to the throne before Armin's birth, gave the prince a beautiful silver cup with intricate carvings of monkeys. This rare treasure costs me an arm and a leg, but it's worth it to find a cup suitable for Prince Armin's first sips of water, Magni said. The queen filled the cup with water. Moments after the cup brushed against Prince Armin's lips, something strange occurred. The infant prince began speaking in complete sentences. Like water over a waterfall, the words flowed out of him. "Alas!" cried Magni. Someone added an evil potion to the water. But Magni knew full and well that the prince's endless chatter was the result of his cursed cup. Poor Prince Armin quickly earned the nickname the Chatterbox Prince. He spoke non-stop, pausing only to breathe, eat, and sleep. His words were unfiltered. Whatever popped into his head popped out of his mouth. This made him very unpopular among the worthies of the court, as he often peppered them with insulting questions. "Is it true that you're older than dirt?" he asked the Duchess of Garm. "Does it take special skills to grow eyebrows that bushy and as hedges?" he asked the Earl of Wig. "Are you part walrus?" he asked Minister Vizier, the king's royal advisor, who had a very long mustache. "Prince Armin should not attend when we entertain ambassadors," Minister Vizier told the king. "Not if we want to be at peace." "Perhaps he'll fare better on the battlefield," said King Elrith. "Doubtful," said Minister Vizier. "He will never have the element of surprise on his side. He'll tell his enemy exactly what he's going to do." One day, a fierce dragon settled itself in the hills above the royal palace. The dragon caused quite a few fires and terrified the people. "I shall go confront the dragon," said Prince Armin, who by now had grown into a young man, hungry for adventure. "Yes," said Uncle Magni, imagining the crown on his head. "You are just the person to ask the dragon to leave." "You mustn't," cried Queen Loria. "You'll be burned to a crisp." "Don't be a worrywart, mother," said Prince Armin. "I know what to do." He had the royal blacksmith craft him a fine suit of fireproof armor. It fit Prince Armin like a glove. However, his endless stream of words echoed so loudly within the steel-plated chamber, it gave the prince a terrible headache. He quickly shed the armor. "That settles that," said King Elrith. "You're not going." "Don't be such a stick in the mud, father," said Prince Armin. "I know what to do." He disappeared into the kitchen. A while later, he emerged, covered in oven mitts. As Prince Armin rode off to meet the dragon, Magni waved goodbye with a smile on his face and his eyes on the throne. "Hey, fire gut, yo, lizard breath," the prince shouted at the dragon as he approached. "You and I need to talk." "Name's Percy," said the dragon, "and I welcome the conversation." No one had spoken with the dragon in 1,000 years. After such a long time without speaking, Percy had a lot to say. Prince Armin, as always, had a lot to say too. They spoke simultaneously, or exactly the same, for nearly a week. Of course, it was a heated discussion. Steam from Percy's breath went down Prince Armin's throat and eventually scalded his voice box. For the first time in his life, Prince Armin could not speak. Percy took this to mean that their conversation was over. "Might you know the directions to Wales? I hear a charming green dragon lives there. I'd love to spark up a conversation with one of my own kind," said Percy. Prince Armin pointed west. Percy bowed to the prince and flew off. Prince Armin rode home. "Is the dragon gone?" asked Queen Loria. Prince Armin nodded silently. Why aren't you gushing with words? Magni seethed. The merchant who sent me the cup told me the word in his curse was lifelong. You cursed my son? Roared the king. For his treachery, Magni was banished from the kingdom. Neither Percy nor Magni ever returned. The Chatterbox Prince was now much loved. His vocal cords, however, never quite recovered. He could barely speak more than a few sentences at a time. In time, Prince Armand became King Armand, the bold and silent, a fitting end for the Chatterbox Prince.